On this episode of Beer, Blues, and BS, boy, Kidder and I have quite a bit to talk about. Kidder went to a Bobcats game, and boy, does he have some stories and some thoughts about the presentation. Me, I've been playing board games with Junior, and I got one. Is it good? Is it bad? You maybe could tell by how I said it. But if you couldn't, just wait. You'll find out. Plus, hey, we revived 2 old segments. That's right. We got a Howard's Hot Take and a Don't Do That. This show's like everything that you could possibly want, which means you're clearly in a good place. So welcome to the show.
It's Howard Blues and V. Mark Kidder. Pour a cold beverage, pull up a seat, enjoy time with friends.
Triple B! Well, the Triple B sucks. Okay? Come on.
Whatever, man. This is Beer, Blues, and BS. Online at beerbluesbs.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that says, sure, you can play a board game with the toddler. Just be prepared for some frustration, some headaches, and probably an elbow to the eye. I'm your host, the living embodiment of Charlie Brown, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Well, let me tell you there, Jaco, I, am here.
And is it really you, or is that LA Knight that I'm hearing? I mean, I was a little confused for a second.
Yeah. Could be a little bit of something. You just never know.
Yeah. You never know, and you never know what we're up to here on the old the Triple B. In fact, it's always one of those reasons why you should be following us on all of our social media, why you should be subscribed to us on YouTube, or be following the good Mr. Kidder there on Twitch, because Kidder, you surprised me today. You were streaming.
Yeah, you got the notice, I'm guessing.
Actually, it was kind of funny. Junior and I were on the couch, and we were looking for something to watch on YouTube for a little bit. And I saw the thing pop up, and I'm like, oh, watch this, Junior. And I quickly pulled it up on Twitch, because when I on the phone, Twitch chat works better than YouTube comments. So I pulled it up on Twitch, and I'm like, hey, Kidder, Junior says hi, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be great, because Kidder will be able to talk right to him. It'll be like magic. We wait, and we wait, and we wait. And then little text message pops up, and it's just like, not quite as cool as, he's used to watching the videos and not having it be interactive. So that would have been like mind-blowing for a toddler, but Failed opportunities.
Maybe, yes. However, I think that if you had sent me a text message, I could have unmuted my microphone and then really started to screw with society.
Well, I mean, that is probably true, but it's okay. It worked out. We ended up getting called to the lunch table, so we were eating lunch. I kind of had it on. And you had some people tuning in there, Kidder. So I, was like trying to be entertaining, trying keeping them going, maybe try to get them going with a little community chat. And so I started, of course, telling dad jokes in your chat.
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, listen, I'm trying, man. I was trying to help.
Went over just like the entertainment value of this show.
Yeah. I like to think that some people maybe caught on and we're having a good time with it, but I probably scared more people away from actually watching the whole thing.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
I think before we get really vested in that, we should have a beverage. What do you say?
Well, I mean, I was trying to lure all these people in, and they're all waiting with bated breath for, their favorite segment, unless they're Layn, and then they've just gone down to the chapters and just skipped ahead.
American Truck Simulator.
I was going to say to what's on tap, but yeah. So yeah, we definitely can get into it, Kidder. everybody's favorite segment, What's on Tap? And what are you having tonight, good sir? What is the man, the myth, the legend drinking tonight?
Well, first of all, I realize that I'm not festive, so I need to change that. Get there. There we are. Back in action.
Kidder, by the time this episode comes out, it's after the holidays, so I'm participating in the usual American tradition of still having my tree up, not turning it on, and I'll get it taken down by Easter.
No, you won't. Fair enough. Let's see. Well, you know what? 'Tis the season. There we go. Also, very depressing news. The LED went out on the Avalanche board, so may it rest in peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us for a moment of silence for the LED in Kidder's Avalanche sign. Thank you.
I appreciate your respect at this difficult time and request some privacy.
I was just gonna say, okay, fine. I won't ask you any more questions about it, but that works too.
Let's see. I have really 4 beers, and that means I'm gonna have to have these too. They go together. All right. All right. I don't remember if we've had this one on the show, but it is from our favorite Texas brewery.
Wait, is this an official beer of Farva?
This is one of Farva's official beers here from the Spatzel Brewing Company. Every drop of Shiner is brewed in Shiner, Texas, because it's always shinier and shiner. I don't know if that's their thing, but this is a black lager. 12 fluid ounces. It's their thing. It's always shinier and shiner. Yes. 4.9% alcohol by volume in this thing. And let's see. Ball Corporation Aluminum, of course, sponsor of yours and my Colorado Avalanche. It focused for a second, and that was worth it. Worth it. Okay. There's really nothing else on this. It's just dark sadness, maybe. Not shiny in Shiner. Anti-Shiner? That's what they could have called it, the Anti-Shiner.
Matte. They could have called it matte. You know, as in like a matte finish.
Maybe. But then you might want to pour this on the mat. It smells rich. The chocolate notes just smash into your palate right off the top. Have you had this one?
No, I have not.
Well, it isn't as thick as the liquid chocolate milk, alcoholic chocolate milk like JS enjoys, but it's pretty smooth. I'll give it that. A solid 2.8 so far after 1, maybe 2. I don't know. I had a Guinness already a couple weeks ago, and so I have, a little bit of the recent baseline, and this one just, it isn't as smooth as what a nice fresh tap Guinness gives you. So it's the chocolate in nature, and then a little bitterness. Anyway, what are you having, good sir?
Well, Kidder, since we are recording this on a Sunday night, I decided to use one of my parent-in-charge beers, and I'm going to my favorite brewery, that is Kettle House Brewing Company, home of my favorite beer, Cold Smoke. This one I got from the local geek. He gave me this one instead of the honey Hefeweizen that he gave you. That's because this is their Northwest IPA. So he thought he would spare you that.
Thanks, of course, local geek. That's why I like you.
Yeah. It's 1 pint of beer, 5.5% alcohol by volume, brewed and canned by Kettle House Brewing Company in Bonner, Montana, Northwest, land of wild rivers, snow-capped peaks, and world-class beer. It has some tasting notes on here. Kidder, it has juicy, citrusy, and dry hopped. So we'll see. We'll see how Kettle House does with an IPA. So open it up. Very citrusy. I'm not smelling a lot of hops, which is maybe a good sign. I really am hoping this is good, Kidder, because it's a full pint. You know, usually when we drink IPAs on this show, it's like it's the can. If it's bad, you get through it fairly quickly. But I got to nurse this thing through the whole show, so I'm hoping it's good. Yeah, that is definitely dry hopped. Woo! It's kind of weird because it's like it does come off like the first bit is kind of very juicy and wet, and then like the hops kick in, and it's like a very like dry note that comes through. I'm not picking up the citrus though.
I thought you were saying that you're not a fan of this brewing company anymore because of this drink.
I mean, it's... Oh, there it is. Okay, I finally got the citrus. It's like on the like after taste on like the second drink. It was like it was like right at the end. It's like top of orange.
Would you have to burp it up to just taste it?
No, it was hidden, man. Like a lost treasure. There to come back at the end after the hops and go, yeah, you taste oranges, you know. You know, I it's not the worst IPA I've ever had. It's not like as hoppy and as, you know, strong on the hops as some of the ones we've had. I mean, it's definitely got that hop taste that, like, for you, this would be a but I can tolerate this. I'm going to give it a 3.8. Above average. But not terrible. Not terrible. So
interesting.
I'll enjoy it as I drink it all evening. Yeah.
Well, very good. You were talking about the stream, and we had some people. Some people were in the stream, watching the stream, and throwing comments. And you missed it, and I even called it out, hoping that you had it on in the background, and it was one of those like, Howard, come back type of things. However, Howard did not come back.
No.
The one and only Layn dropped in on the stream. He was talking about what he was doing today, what he was cooking. He's making spicy Korean chicken tonight with some fresh rice and some slaw. And I'm like, that sounds awfully good. You should come up here. We can make it.
I was going to say, does he deliver?
I was hoping. Really hoping. But yeah. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Talking about Howard a second. He was trying to get the chat numbers up.
Hey, listen, I'm sorry I missed that. I literally, you had started kind of right before lunchtime, or at least when I jumped in, it was right before lunchtime. Had to feed the kids, and then we had to put one kid to sleep. And so that I was entertaining the other kid by playing board game, which I'll come back to because I got some things to maybe rant about. And anyway, that kept me busy, so I never got back on, unfortunately. So now I'm disappointed that I missed the appearance of Layn and such. Because man, there could have been some great banter back and forth in the chat if I would have been there.
Yeah, the chat would have been fired up. It would have been rolling, and it just didn't happen.
And he would have hated all of those dad jokes I was telling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even pointed out that you were telling dad jokes.
Did he fire back with, well, yeah, Howard's a dad, so every joke is a dad joke?
No, because that's a dad joke.
Ah. True. True. True.
Gotcha. No, Rude Boy Kyle got all fired up. We were trucking. We were Christmas trucking, holiday trucking.
Yeah. Junior kept asking me why there was snow and then not snow, because like you would go to like your truck screen and there was snow on the ground. But then he was very confused when he got back in the game and then there was no snow.
Yes. Very confused why they didn't just change the model over so then there's snow on everything in the game.
Yeah.
And snow plows and stuff. That would be cool.
That was confusing for him and such. He did like the fact that you were hauling a load of cattle at one point.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool for him.
I don't even know what was supposed to be in the trailer, because I thought I clicked something else, but apparently I clicked that one. So when I went to hook up to it and it says, "This is your trailer," I don't remember selecting that one, but we're here now, so let's haul it. And I think I turned a corner and it looked like pigs. But again, we just make it up as we go.
I mean, listen, if it works for him in the headcanon that you were, hauling a load of cattle from Wyoming to wherever you went, yeah, it was good. Yeah.
And the reason that they have the portal, because they port you over to the other map, and that's where the Christmas village is. And then you have to deliver stuff to there or from there. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, but hey, you made it to Devil's Tower. That was pretty cool.
I was like, right when you joined, I'm like, right up the road here, we have something that I need to take a picture of. So let's go.
Junior was a little disappointed because, like, when we hopped in, it was nighttime, and like we came up and it was like Devil's Tower trading post. I'm like, oh, hey, he's at Devil's Tower. And you're like, me no see tower. Like, well, maybe the daylight will come on and you'll be able to see it. So he was happy that did pop up and he got to see it.
Yeah. It was dark when I got there, and then suddenly, through a miracle of a couple keystrokes, the sun came out.
That's right, everybody. Mark Kidder controls the weather. He doesn't just report it. So don't tick him off.
The king of convection. Don't you forget it.
I mean, I kind of had forgotten it, but I'm old. I forget things.
Well, you just wait until there's some lake effect snow right over your house.
Like when? Like 4 months from now?
Anytime. You never know when it's going to snow.
Well, I don't have my snowblower back, so just hold off for a while, man. In fact, Kidder, we've talked about how Howard kind of sucks at winter. Because my wife worked during this last snowstorm that came through, so I had the kids and therefore could not get out and shovel. Like, my driveway and sidewalks are still covered. So I'm hoping that there's some more of this nice weather that we've been having in the old forecast, and it'll just melt that all right off.
No.
Damn.
Should have bought a house with a southerly facing driveway like somebody else.
My house faces the west, but we get a lot of southern sunlight.
For half the day.
Yeah. That's fine. It's a good chunk of the day, truthfully.
That's fine. Apparently it's not fine since somebody still has ice and snow in their driveway.
Well, listen, I part of that is just me needing to get out and shovel, but it's hard with kids because they always want to come out and help. But that means you got to bundle them up, and then you have to watch them. And little Miss is a little Houdini; she'll just run off. So it's not like you can just focus on shoveling. It's like you're babysitting while trying to shovel.
Leashes.
I
Tie him to the house with a 30-foot rope. You shovel this area.
This is why Kidder doesn't have kids, and why Kidder is also not suitable for a babysitter.
Dang it! Hate that I got taken off that list there. I mean, didn't say where the leash had to be attached. You got a little belt, right? To the little backpacks.
My kids are clever enough; they'd slip out of that backpack. You'd have to duct tape that on them to keep them from getting out, and then they would just yell and scream at you.
Okay, so it might be a little bit nice this week.
Woo! Also, I'm only working 4 days this week, so working 4 days and then off for a chunk. So this is my last work week in December.
Must be rough.
Well, I'm still trying to burn down all of the extra time I earned from my time in Medora. Plus, I just got the email that I have 84 and a half hours I have to kill before May 1st. Otherwise, I lose them. So Howard's got 3 weeks I need to take off.
WrestleMania is coming up.
Yeah. So WrestleMania is on the weekend. That doesn't help me with taking time off.
Well, I mean, Friday and Monday, there's at least 16 hours right there.
Well, yes, but why do I need to take that much time off? Well, maybe Monday might be nice. I have to look to see what my wife's schedule is. Because it doesn't do me any good to take a day off when she still has to work, because that means the next day I have to deal with the kids. So it's not really a full day off. So I try to take my time off when my wife is off. That way we can tag team the kids and it's not as stressful. Yeah. To quote your shirt.
Look at that.
Yeah, you're sporting the LA Knight merch.
I might as well, right?
I don't know. Are they doing anything with him right now? I mean, the only news I've been seeing about WWE has been that CM Punk is back and entered into the Royal Rumble. And then the fact that Orton is challenging Roman Reigns. That's it. That's the WWE news that I know. But nothing on anybody else. So I couldn't tell you what LA Knight's up to.
He's still challenging of sorts. Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, still kind of going after them. And also had a tag match with Randy Orton against Solo Sikoa and Jey Uso. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's at least they're doing something with him.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Yeah. Yeah. So there's also not a whole lot else. Kind of looks like CM Punk will face Seth Rollins. Royal Rumble.
Well, but
Or
he's
not Royal
entering.
Rumble. Not Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
They're in the Rumble. Yes. He's facing Dominic Mysterio.
Hmm.
He got a house show.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Not who I would partner
Down the
up
road.
with right away, but yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I did watch that first promo of his, Kidder, the one that, like, you know, I had said that I was hearing some of the commentary was saying that it was very much a stretch, and I think I got it. I think the thing that's hard to believe is him saying, like, "I'm home." Like, that line just comes off very inauthentic when it uttered from his lips. You know, like the rest of the promo, fine, but just that "I'm home," and then the fact that he said it again when he was choosing his brand and all of that. It's like that's clearly a line that he's being forced to say, and it just comes off as inauthentic. The rest of his stuff is fine, but it just, yeah, I have a hard time with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you feel the same or we're going to disagree.
I mean, yeah, they're going to make him a paycheck, and he essentially broke social media when he came back, beat out every other talent in the history of wrestling for the most social media views related to his return. And I think that shows that he is kind of home, because he can get the most eyeballs. He can make the most money, make the company a ton of money, and do what he does until he has to retire.
Yeah, but just because he gets eyeballs, does that really mean he's home? Like I'm not gonna lie. Like, up until you had the All-In Brawl, you know, he seemed like he was at a pretty good fit in AEW.
Mm.
You know,
I did not feel that way.
I say this. You watched, like, this. I'm the guy who's seen nothing. So, like, I am clearly armchair speculating here. You have actually seen this, so I
have a little bit different perspective as well, though, I guess, with my advertising and broadcast experience. So I see it a little bit different. But just the way that it felt, yeah, AEW was good for him. However, I think that it was just too much of a back and forth with the people in charge. And then the people in charge whined and complained. And then there were bigger issues, and those issues overflowed. And then that's that, right? So whatever. The fact that he was suspended the first time was stupid. And then the fact that they let him go on the second thing, incident, which Bryan Danielson is on the conduct board and fining a bunch of people, I guess. So take that as you will. But the fact that CM Punk is back, I think he realizes where he can make the most money, where he can have the biggest impact. And he is also able to, actually have a career, because the company has changed a lot since he left. Not only from the simple leadership, but, being sold and the people who are in charge in different places. And it's not just the same as when he left. He's not the same as when he left. So there's a lot, I think, going for this, especially because when he was on WWE Backstage, like, that was great. I loved watching that show for his take as an at that time outsider, yet an insider, not afraid of what to say. And also, as a side note, because I think, had talked about WWE shopping around for potential network for Raw as the contract is coming due. We know SmackDown will be returning to USA. And with CM Punk and his ratings spike, and you can see that in the past couple episodes of Raw and SmackDown, where you see kind of about here, and then the CM Punk segment goes like this, and then it goes back down. So the metrics don't lie. People are interested in it. That's helping to formulate a bigger appetite for who gets Raw. What network will Raw land on? And also, apparently, he has opened some doors to have discussions with Warner Brothers Discovery, which, of course, as we know, is the umbrella that AEW is sitting under right now with TNT and TBS. How will that look? Will they drop AEW for a Raw product that has had historically, for the most part, better ratings than the AEW shows?
Yeah, hard to say.
Controversy.
I wouldn't say it's controversy.
Controversy.
I mean, it's definitely not controversy.
I said it.
I know you did. I'm refuting it. I don't think it's a controversial take in any way, shape, or form. I'd have a hard time seeing Warner Discovery drop an AEW, but it could happen. But I will say, I think there's a lot of eyeballs on Punk and wanting to see what that reaction's going to be like in WWE. I'm pretty sure when they finally have the match between him and Seth Rollins, that is going to draw money. People are going to want to see that because there's enough question whether that's a work or a shoot, and if it's going to be an ugly, fight, or if it's, going to just be a WWE match. I'm hoping they play it a little bit more like a shoot than a work, truthfully. I think that would kind of help make it believable. But we'll see. We'll see when we get there. But it could be good. Could be good. So, any other wrestling news before we move on to an actual topic that was on the run sheet?
Thunder Rosa returned after like 2 years. Of course, Randy Orton returned, we know. AJ Styles returned on SmackDown, super ripped, and immediately turned heel. Ric Flair's been working with AEW and also promoting his energy drink.
Yeah. Okay.
FTR is feuding with House of Black.
That's going to make, predictions hard the next AEW pay-per-view. Hopefully there's not one for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've hit the wrestling news. Why don't we move to the other segment that we always do news from? Hockey. Get her. How the Avs doing?
Well, let me tell you, it's been about a 50-50. Last night, not a good night. Avs played the Jets and let a stinker 6-2.
Oof.
Yes. Very disappointed. However, tonight, Avs are up over the Sharks 5-2 at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah. And former Bismarck Bobcat Sam Malinsky. I was going to try and say his real full name there. Samuel. They're calling him Sam. But Sam Malinsky. There you go. Scoring his NHL goal. And in fact, the final 6-2, Avs beat the Sharks.
Nice. Well, hopefully the Avs keep some momentum going then for a bit, because that'd be nice. Be nice to be winning. How about the old Fighting Sioux? I haven't actually seen the score from them this weekend.
It's because they're off for the old Christmas break.
Yeah, Christmas. Yeah, well, gosh, we're just running down the teams. Well, that brings us, as we keep dropping in the level of hockey, that brings us to the Bismarck Bobcats.
That's right there, Howie Blues. The Bismarck Bobcats.
And
just want to emphasize that.
Yeah.
The St. Cloud Norsemen were in town Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, and you actually went to a game. And you know, like me and the family were this close to actually going to that same game. We were like these close. But the kids were both like extremely tired and cranky, so it's like don't know if we want to do this.
Let them run up and down the old bleachers and let them burn off some more energy, and then
it doesn't work like that, Kidder. Yes, they do get tired, but then what happens with kids is they get their second wind, which is actually a burst of cortisol that then makes them even more difficult to put to sleep. They get more wild and frantic and frenetic, and they don't just like crash. It's actually kind of chaotic. Like, I wish it would happen to all of us, where like you get to that point in the day where like, okay, I'm exhausted, I just want to go home, and it says like, poof, okay, I got all this manic energy, let's just get everything done. Yeah. So, but anyway, how was the game, Kidder?
it was good. Except I do have to, my one complaint, I guess, about all of it, because I love hockey. I love going to hockey games and being able to experience the game. And the seats that I was granted, shall we say, at the very end, like right at the corner.
Ooh.
So not a bad perspective looking down the rink, but it was on the kids' side, essentially, where the kids are always running back and forth, and people are getting up and leaving and going to get beers and going to get food and going to the bathroom. And so constantly you have this happening, and you're like, get out of the way. I'm just trying to watch the freaking game, and it's just people, and it's very distracting, which makes me miss and love the Ralph even more, because during play you could get up and go, although most of the people at the arena are that big of hockey fanatics and understand that you wait until a break in the action to get up and leave. And of course, you aren't allowed to go down to your seats until there's a break in the action. Very much miss that. And so I will do everything in my power to never sit over on the bleacher side again.
Oh. So you were you across
north
from the
side? Yeah.
You were across from the penalty box?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I try my hardest not to sit over there.
Yeah.
And mostly because there's no backrest. It is like the most uncomfortable. If you're going to sit on that side, you had to be all the way up at the top, because then you get the wall at least.
Correct. Yeah. And I was leaning forward. I was doing the old, straight back. So then you're right? You trying to keep the back stretched out a little bit, and thankfully my back doesn't really hurt because of that, but my ass kind of hurts because of that, and I was standing up the whole time before, during the intermissions, and then after the game as long as I could, but it just killed it because the kids everywhere, people everywhere. One of the best things about sitting right there was we were right by the ramp. And so the guy with the beer right there turns the corner. Beer, hip! Just stops right there. Here you go. You know, that was very convenient. But even with that amount of convenience, is still incredibly agitating. And I will do everything I can to not sit over there ever again. The last game that I was at, we sat over there and it was in the middle and it was up a couple rows and it wasn't bad. But again, positioning, the sectioning, whatever, it is what it is. The game was good. There were no actual fights, a couple penalties for roughing, and a lot of good chance. In fact, the captain had a hat trick, which started off the scoring for the night. So that was fun. And then the other two goals were from two of the other players. One of the flame pots didn't work, and the other smoke machine was running low on smoke fuel. So that was very underwhelming. The audio in that place is horrendous. And I understand it's a giant sheet metal building with no audio absorption anywhere except for the people in it. But my God, please put a couple $100 here and there for some sheets or some foam up in the rafters, or like do something. It's gotten worse since the last time that I went to a game.
Well, and part of it is that they crank the sound like way too much for that.
Yes.
You know, that space. Because as somebody who has announced in that building and played music in that building, I'm probably one of the on the more quiet side with like the music and such, especially during like the intermission breaks. I've actually had like some of the other like, you kind of play the music quiet. I'm like, yeah, because people who are here, they didn't come to the hockey game to listen to me play music. You know, they want to have a conversation. It's the, period break. I just have the music there so that, hey, maybe if you don't have somebody to talk to, you have something to listen to. That's it.
Yep.
But it's not a rock concert.
Let me see if this works. Nope. Didn't work at all. In fact, it was so loud. That's all it recorded. That's insane.
Yeah.
There was a song, and I happened to try to record, and obviously it didn't work there, but I tried to record the audio clip for Rude Boy to be able to hear, because he would have laughed at it as well. And clearly that just didn't work at all.
Yeah, no, they play it so loud, especially like even like during like player introductions. The times that I have gone, I've never been able to like actually hear like who's playing for our team. Yeah. Now, Peter, I do have to ask, because I'm sure
Yes.
that they have not changed the warm-up music. Were you there for warm-ups?
Yes.
What did you think of their warm-up track that constantly is switching from song to song to song constantly instead of like playing a full song through?
So I think they must have changed it a little bit because it played the majority of each of the songs that I noticed. Could have been a better mix done to it. There could be a lot of things done to it. There could be a higher quality production for sure. Having done game day operations for men's and women's hockey at UND for almost 10 years, you can get a better quality production with less people. And the fact that they had, I saw at least 5 people running around doing game day stuff. You can get those people to work on different pieces and actually have them do something except for sticking the scratch cutout stickers to the side of the glass. Like, you can put people to work and have the other people doing stuff not running all over the place looking like they're going to pass out. So yeah. That's one thing. I understand you're trying to operate on a budget. The lights, the horn, right, yes. But maybe get some other automated pieces. Maybe put some things up on the rafters so then, you have more of a self-contained operation that somebody can do something with a push a button instead of having to set all this stuff up out on the ice every time. There's different options and different ways of going about it. Not my game, not my building, not my problem. But I mean, that might be a reason why all of the seats aren't full, even though they're having a pretty good season.
Yeah, it's one of those. I like that they're trying to do stuff to make it special, but at the same time, it's sometimes a little too much, if you ask me, in some of it, and for not really a grand purpose. So, but no, it sounds like at least they made improvements then to their warm-up music, because the last time I went to a Bobcats game, it was this track that would like start playing a song and would build to like maybe the part of a song that like people would actually get fired up for, and then it would like switch to something else.
Like a hook?
Yeah, like it would get to like they do like AC/DC's Thunder, and it would kind of do that na 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 thunder, and they'd build, but then to nothing. Like they would do it like 2-3 times, like it's building, and then it would switch to like some other song, and you're just like, what? Like I think that there was one of the ones that we were in, they were like they did like, I think Enter Sandman was in the mix. And it was like the first like verse, and it gets to like the chorus, and it like cuts right before the chorus, which is a weird spot to cut Enter Sandman, because everybody wants to sing the chorus part or wants to hear the chorus part. That's the best part of that song. So it's a weird spot to cut, but it was doing things like that. So at least that sounds like that wasn't quite that bad.
No, but I would have noticed and called it out. So they must have changed that up and figured it out a little bit better. But yeah, production aspect, the whole building, it would be great if the building could be completely renovated, made into a bigger, better space. I understand it's not going to happen. However, would be better. Get some actual seats throughout. Get some better acoustics in there. Get some better game day type stuff. Just improve everything. Better accessibility throughout the whole building too.
Yeah. Well, let me tie this into kind of the next kind of piece that we have.
Well, I have more on the Bobcats.
Well, let me tie it. We'll come back to the Bobcat. It's okay. It's okay. One of the things that we want to talk about is I worked my first hockey game of the season. I was a goal judge, and so I was over on. Gosh, I'm terrible about directions in that building. I was on the
Garage
opposite
door.
I was on the opposite side from the ZAM. So, and the curling club,
west side.
Yeah. And so, Kidder, I was up in my chair, and if you're on the east side, you have a little switch when you're a goal judge that you can quickly flip, and it will, it lights up the light. And you're supposed to try and do that before the timekeeper hits the clock button or stops the clock. Because if he stops the clock, your light won't go on. On the west side, my side, a couple years ago now, they actually had a puck break the light. They're still missing a part. So I don't have a little switch to turn on the light. I am actually hardwired in, and I sit there with an actual electrical junction box with a light switch light on it, and it's hardwired in, so I can flip that on anytime and turn the light on instead of only when the clock's running. It's so you talk about taking care of the building. I had to jump in and share. I sit in the game holding an electrical junction box in my hand to turn on the light when I do that. And it's been that way now for 3 years. So
that's terrible. Come on.
So
fix $5 in parts and fix the frickin' thing.
Apparently it's one very specific part, and they've had to order it, but it's extremely expensive, and so they haven't done it. At least that's the story I've heard. And I think that they've now switched well, we got it working, so I guess we'll just run with that. But yeah, okay. Anyway, back to more of your thoughts on the Bobcats. I had to share that since you were talking about the condition of that building, because that's it's kind of dirty, needs to be cleaned up. Good pressure washer would really help. This spring, open up the doors, pressure wash that SOB top to bottom, squeegee it all out. Let's clean it up, Let's bring it into the 20th century, okay? Please. But whoever's playing Scratch these days was having a good time, jumping around all nimbly-bimbly from tree to tree and whatnot, and lots of energy. And so I give that person props. So props to Scratch. You remember the Pizza Panic, Pizza Frenzy little segment where they would play some, real high tempo music, and then Scratch comes running in with the pizzas. And number one, why do I want a pizza that's been shoved and shuffled around a pizza box all the way across the, why? You open it up and it's probably the Pizza the Hut puked in your box. How can you eat that? I'll just put that into the garbage, I guess. Still, my question about that segment, get your pizza, and it's let's hold it. Whatever. Okay, you get the point. Second thing, Scratch, big Bobcat, fuzzy head, and probably about this much visibility. I would imagine, right? Or even out of the mouth, right? If it's that much, you get this much visibility. Okay, so running with the pizzas, boom, just railroad some kid, and Scratch goes down. Everybody's cheering. You hear, oh, and it goes quiet a second, and Scratch gets up, and everybody goes, yeah! He's got the pizzas.
Like, nobody cared about that little kid. Like, Skull scratches up with the pizza. Yeah!
That's good. And I'll say this, Kidder, because I'm a parent. One, it's because everybody gets tired of those kids running around that place. So, like, nobody feels sorry for them that they're doing that. But two, it's probably the kid's own damn fault, because I've seen this enough times. Again, because that visibility is so low, these kids just run up like scratch, and yeah, they don't. He doesn't see them. So
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So Scratch went running, gave the pizza away, went to the other side, gave the last pizza away. And about 3-5 minutes later, something like that, comes back when he's got the whiteboard. Sorry if that was your kid. And just goes down and he's doing the was your kid? No, your kid? No, like your kid? No, okay, no. So at least he felt a little sorry for putting
Running
that
in.
kid as a speed bump in the highway of life.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're picking on kids with this, but for anybody, if you have never been to a Bobcats game and seen, like, it is like the families come, and for the most part, like, it's the parents trying to watch the hockey game, and the kids are just running amok through the entire place, like the entire night. And it really, like, we take like our kids, and our kids, they're young enough where they don't have to buy a ticket for an actual seat. So like the last game, Junior sat on my lap pretty much the whole game. We talked hockey as it was happening. We don't let our kids just run amok with that. Well, we haven't even taken ours down to the ice for like the retrieval of the chuck-a-pucks, because that's just a madhouse. That's ugh. And it's the best example of like bad behavior on display, because it's like all these kids, like the older kids are like, get out there first, and they're just scooping up all the pucks, so the little kids can't get out. But then they're so busy trying to get all the pucks, like the number of times the ZAM has had to then wait because the kids are dinking around on the ice, sliding on the ice. It's just like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah. So we haven't taken our kids down. And if we did, yeah, I mean, I admit it, I'd be that kind of strict parent. Like, all right, we got our one puck. All right, back to put it in the bucket. One and done. We're out of here. We gone. But yeah, it is a madhouse. And if you're sitting anywhere, especially on the side that you were on, Kidder, it's kids just running up and down that side constantly. It's a little bit harder over on the other side, which is why I always sit over there. Besides, it's actual decent seats. But any other notes from the Bobcats game, since you said you had more?
Won 5-2. Good game. No real fights, so that was kind of weird. That was kind of weird. Yeah, the seats are still less than can be desired. Also, no real ushers or anything, so even though you have a seat assignment, nobody there to ensure that you are at the correct seat or in the correct section, and so that is whatever. So instead of sitting in our seats, which were in D, we sat in A, which again, not that big of a difference, but could have been just a little bit better being away from everybody and then up a little higher. I didn't think that they had Bud Light, and so I went with a straight Budweiser, just diesel right off the bat. So that was a little thick. And then guys like, oh yeah, we have Budweiser. Oh, I'll take one of those. Yeah, we have Bud Light. Parking to get out was somewhat surprising in that it was decent. Like people were respective using or respectful, not respective, but respectful for their respective lanes, and then also using the alternating method, right? Like, yeah, it sucks, but let that person in front, and then you go, and then somebody goes behind, and then eventually you all get out because everybody keeps moving, and then there isn't the question of, well, should I go? Should I? Do you wait? No, you go. No, you go. No. So, anyway, that was all right. And then on the way home, we got McDonald's. Sorry, the golden arches with the M that doesn't stand for Mark Kidder.
What, you mean McDonald's?
Dr. Moon McDonald's, right? The missus had to get the adult Happy Meal.
Did she feel happy afterwards?
No. Because she's always angry. She's right behind me for a second. I'm just going to leave this camera on and sit here in case I get murdered. Then you know there's specific proof.
Yes. Well, Kidder, as I mentioned earlier, I too was at a hockey game this week, although mine was high school hockey.
You don't want to know what if one day you woke up as a McNugget?
No. Anyway.
And the McNugget buddies?
No.
And end up with a snapback hat and books and come wrapped in a McDonald's sandwich wrapper?
I mean, I keep saying no, and you keep telling me, so it's...
That's because I might get murdered by the end of this show, so I need to get it all out.
Anyway. One, Kidder, you should have signed up for Murder Bird protection.
I don't know if Murder Bird can help me in this situation.
Anyway, yes, I was at a high school hockey game. I got asked to fill in for my father-in-law. He was undergoing a small medical procedure. So I got to once again don the fedora and head to the rink and go step in a high chair and count shots on goal. It was... it should have been a good game. It was the Legacy Sabres minus one Mario Lamoureux, who is no longer the coach of the Legacy Sabres, versus the Minot Magicians. Legacy Sabres were the West Region champs last year, so this should have been a good match. Started off all right, but then the floodgates opened, and it was 1 goal, 2 goal, 3 goal, 4 goals for the Minot Magicians. And on that 4th goal, I didn't see what happened. It was on. I was down on my end, but I was doing my job, man. I was watching the puck. So here's what I can tell you: the shot came in from the left. The goalie made a diving save. The puck got rebounded out. And right kind of down the center, and there was a Minot Magician player there who just put it right in the back of the net. Beautiful play on their part. But something happened, and the Legacy Sabres goalie was down and not moving. He stayed down for quite a while. Eventually got up and skated off ice, so that was good at least. But I don't think it was a great diagnosis because in between periods, I happened to walk back kind of through the players' area to get to the penalty box so I could chat with the other off-ice officials in case there were any questions, or at least to maybe find out even what had happened. And I saw the parents and family who were there as the goalie was getting checked out. And by the next period break, when I went again to go there, he was not nowhere to be seen, but clearly the sister and the mom were in pretty strong tears. So kind of gives an impression that it was something serious and on the injury side. So I don't know for certain, but I hope the young man's okay. So they brought in their backup goalie. He was able to kind of finish out that period. Thankfully, that was kind of towards the end. So he finished out. We get into the second period, and it's just more of Minot. It was kind of very clear. Second period. If the first period was the chapter and the goalie goes down, the second period as a chapter title would be, and there would be revenge. And it was just very much clear that the Legacy Sabres were mad that their goalie was out, and they were just trying to hurt somebody, and they were more focused on hitting people than playing the puck. They had one player try and mess with the opposing team's goalie and try and knock him out of position for a goal. No penalty or anything came out of that, although there probably should have been a penalty with it. But Minot would strike a couple more times. I think it would be, it was either 6 or 7-0. Going, into the third period. So the third period, we started with runtime. Legacy had calmed it down by the third period. They would score 2 goals back to back right off the bat. Which here's a fun observation for you, Kidder. I know you like good fun observations. So I'm the goal judge, right? So I'm watching, and I'm paying very close attention to what's going on the ice because it's my job. But down on my end, they have the seating around the end of the rink on both sides. I'm surrounded by Legacy kids. And I can tell because they have the blankets, the sweatshirts, the jerseys. In fact, I had part of their JV team sitting next to me who were giving commentary the whole time, and it was terrible. It was terrible. They were even trying to chirp the Minot team, and it was some of the worst chirping ever. Like, just terrible. Things like one of the players on the Magicians was wearing glasses. I'm like, oh, hey, he's wearing glasses. Hey, 4 eyes. I'm like, 4 eyes? Seriously?
That's what we've come down to.
That's the best you got? One of the other Minot players had long hair. Oh, look, man, they got a girl on their team. I'm like, yeah, that girl's kicking your ass. I mean, it was just terrible chirping. Anyway, but the point I want to get to is Legacy scores their first goal. The lights go on and the horn goes on and the music goes on. It's not until the music starts up that all of a sudden, like, the Legacy kids look up from their phones, like, oh, we scored. Yeah. Woo. Like, the delay on that was just, I was laughing as I was sitting in the chair. I'm like, you kids aren't even paying attention to this.
Yeah, you guys suck.
So Legacy scored 2, which ended the 6-goal differential and meant that we left runtime, which was like, God damn it. Because at this point, this game is over, and I just want to go home. It's at that point.
That happens, yeah.
And now that, thankfully, Minot would score very quickly after that and push back to runtime, and we'd get out of the game, and it would end 8-2 was our final on that. So Legacy got whomped, but I mean, a huge part of that was losing their goaltender. Not that he was having a great game, but losing him, and then just the fact that they played just terrible hockey that second period. You can tell. It was fairly oh, you guys are just literally trying to hurt somebody, and because of that, you're not making good shots. You're not making any attempts to win this game. So that was my bit of high school hockey this week. Sure. And tough to watch. So
something else that's tough to watch. I don't know if you have seen this video, but earlier this week, Rob Ray former NHL players now on commentary, and typically is in the intermediary position between the benches, doing the color commentary or analysis from between the benches. And this was during a Buffalo Sabres and Vegas Golden Knights game. And the way the play developed is the two players came toward the neutral zone there, basically toward the benches, and the puck got shot toward the two of them as a pass, got deflected along the way, and smoked him between the eyes. Ooh. Right in the center of his forehead, right in the center of his eyebrows. Broke his glasses, took him out. They gave him a towel. And, of course, he did the old pressure technique. They sewed him up, put a little piece of tape over it. Good to go for the rest of the game. He finished it out. That's why hockey is far superior to any other sport on this planet.
I don't know if that necessarily makes it far superior because truthfully, Kidder, and this is just me, I like my brain cells. If I was in his position, I'd be wearing a helmet. I don't care how that makes me look on TV. I'd be like, nope, I'm staying safe out here because I don't need a concussion. I don't need any of the side effects. Start to lose teeth just reporting a game, So this is also maybe why Howard was not built for hockey. I just, that's my mindset. I have a little bit too much self-preservation. I get the macho-ness, but I'd much rather stay safe and do not need to get hit by a puck. That's just my 2 cents. Or better yet, I should say this, and that's my hot take. There, I can whip that graphic out now.
Yeah, it's been a while. I would just rather than put a piece of glass between, and then there you go.
That too. That would also work.
Interesting news as it just popped up as well. Just talking about wrestling, a little insert into the sports entertainment here that Randy Orton, Rev Theory remade the Voices theme song, if you will. And Randy Orton at this point has turned it down to use it. So that's good. I didn't really like the new version comparatively. And then also AEW is apparently no longer at this time has working plans on bringing in Mercedes Moné, i.e. Sasha Banks, which may leave her open to working in New Japan, Stardom, somewhere else, WWE.
Yeah. Well, Kidder, we've been talking a lot about watching things and
playing things.
And I'm playing things, but I was making a transition to watching because you're holding something, but I can't tell. What you got there, Kidder?
Well, at first I got this from Brother Nico, and I was like, "Oh, he gave me an AR mag for Christmas." And then I opened it up, and no, not an AR mag. But, right? It looks like what you think it is.
It looks like a play school pocket knife. Oh, no, it's a hot dog.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep. Got the bun and the hot dog, and it'll screw you up. Just can't stab it. Yeah, anyway.
Interesting.
You were just seemingly getting there and slightly getting frustrated, and so I figured that the old, hey, what is this? would do it.
Yeah, listen,
'Cause I'm gonna butter your bread.
I had to just say, I'm used to my transitions being stomped on, but never with a hot dog knife. That's new. That's original. Add that to the Howard getting transition stomped on highlight reel.
Yeah, instead of stomped on or broken up, you've been cut off.
Right. Been given the old dog. Anyway, I was trying to say, Kidder, I've been watching. It just so happens, I know it seems like I didn't talk about this all that long ago, but the GeoWizard is back at his shenanigans, and
wow,
this one a little different. He's getting back to what he likes to call a more simple time of adventuring. A time he's trying to reconnect to his childhood where he would just go and explore places. And so this time around, he has loaded his backpack with a few things. He's got $10, or, it's the British equivalent, 10 pounds. And he's walked out his front door and he's heading north. And that's it. No plans, no destination, no known place where he's going to sleep, and no clear sign of when this adventure is done. Like, I don't know, is it done when he's out of money? Is it done when he hits someplace? That's my one critique of this. Like, is he going to go for 3 days? I don't know. That's my one critique, is there's not a what ends this challenge or adventure sort of thing. But he is just walking north. He is trying his downright hardest not to trespass on this one, because he's like, no, this is a simple adventure. I'm walking county roads. There's a lot of footpaths. I'm trying to use those. So trying to do that. But yeah, he's going. And I've watched the first episode because that came out. And slight spoilers, he's spent all of 95 cents so far. And he's getting on pretty well. There is some interesting things. There's some things that he's done that you're just kind of like, huh? Like, he spent the 95 cents on a bottle of lemonade that then later, while crossing a fence, he tossed the lemonade over the fence and then forgot to pick up the lemonade. And so he left it behind.
Terrible.
I mean, the guy, for a guy who part of his YouTube career is going on these adventures, he sometimes kind of sucks at it. And I think that's why I tune in, because it's like, how can you be so bad at this? But he is. So it's been interesting to watch. I'll continue watching the whole series. I don't know if it's going to be as drama filled, but I don't know. He's up and doing it. And hey, there's a link in the show notes in case you want to watch this too, and then see kind of his little travel log as he tries to get to, I don't know where. Again, there's no defined thing to this challenge, so it's, I don't know how long is he going to go. Yeah, it is. It's very is, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of trouble and such he gets into. So, yeah. What's that?
Have you, you talking about the UK? Have you had a chance to watch Doctor Who?
No.
Okay.
No. Wanted to. Actually had an opportunity to do it last night. And I'd kind of forgotten the Doctor Who was an option, and my wife chose to watch more of Sandman. Which is a show that the more I watch of it, the more I just don't know that I like it.
Probably not then.
It's well, there are things I like, and I want to like it so badly, but there are just elements of it that just are a little irksome. Like some of the changes that they're having to make, because the comics were written as part of the DC universe, but apparently they didn't get the rights to use those characters in the show, so they're having to change some things with it. But
just probably should not have made the show.
Yeah. But the thing that I think bugs me the most, and in reading the comics, you can kind of infer your own pacing on it. But the guy that they have playing Dream, he's got a good voice. It's got a good kind of dark voice to it. But he talks so slow. It's like in the comic, it feels like Dream is much more with it and has a response and has kind of witty, banter and is kind of a little bit quicker on his feet. And this guy just feels like he broods all the time. He just feels like the emo kid who's brooding about everything. And you just kind of just spit the line out,
Sounds like most of the DC's problem. And that's why I don't like most of the DC universe stuff. I know it's not all bad, but that's just my mild take.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is just it's the dark, the Zack Snyder dark take on things. But this is it is trying just a bit too hard to kind of to making this brooding character. I've just never really viewed him as a brooding character, and so it's just, I don't know, it doesn't sit well, and it draws like everything out. And also because they're changing some things, like they're having to bump up the tension in some things to create drama for it. So for instance, in the comic, there's an issue where Dream works with John Constantine from the famous John Constantine movie played by Keanu Reeves. So it's that character, in here. And it's they work together. There's no real tension between them. It's it's John basically saying, "Yes, I ended up with your bag of sand, but I left it here. We'll have to go get it." And they work together to do it. When in the show version, they've changed John Constantine to Joanna Constantine. And they have to put this tension where she doesn't really trust him and work with him, and it's this kind of headbutting. That said, it's played by the same gal who played Clara Osborne, or Oswald, Clara from Doctor Who. So it's her playing Joanna. But yeah, they have this kind of tension to it, and you're just so the pace is really long. The pace is slow. My wife keeps falling asleep during it, so we have to keep rewinding and watching parts again. So, I want to like it. I like some of the visuals with it, and I like some of the themes with it. I'm very curious how they're going to handle the episode that focuses on the issue 24, because that episode or that issue of the comic is very dark and gruesome. And so I'm wondering how that's going to fit into it. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, they changed some things to add this tension that it didn't need to be tense about. And in some ways that changes the story. And I understand, there's going to be changes between the adaptation and such, but one of the first kind of villains, his name is John. In the comics, he's the very obscure DC villain, Dr. Destiny. He gets out, and he's after Dream's Ruby, which was what Dr. Destiny used when he was a villain to do his villainous things. And he's trying to get it back, and he's racing Dream to get it. And he hitchhikes a ride with this gal who takes them through. And in the comics, they're very friendly. They're getting along. They joke a little bit. And, it's a fairly decent relationship, which then, and I'm sorry, spoilers for anybody, but the comic's been out for a long time. So spoilers, they've had this good relationship, and she drops him off to get the ruby. He gets the ruby, and when he walks back out, you find that what's the first thing he did with it? He killed her. In the show, they have him with this woman, but then she finds out that he's a murderer, and it builds this whole tension. They stop at a gas station where she fakes like she needs to get gas, so she could tell the clerk, that she's traveling with a murder. Like tries to turn him in, and they end up on a friendly note at kind of the end of it, and it's just kind of like he was so much darker in the comic version because he'd had just this whole friendly thing, and the first thing he does is he kills somebody. And here he's being all, it doesn't quite work. So there's just some of that just, I want to like it, and there's more episodes coming, and so I'm sure I'm going to watch more, but it's just, I don't know. There are other things I think I'd rather watch, but we had forgotten about Doctor Who when we came down. We were both exhausted, and it's like, what have we been watching? And it was Sandman. Okay, we'll watch that. So I'll try and remember though, Kidder, and we'll try and get some Doctor Who watched, because I do want to watch it and talk to you about it. So
yeah, I have feelings about it. Those sorts of things. Finished The Defenders last night.
How was that for you?
Still kind of like, through the entirety of the series, which is one season. And,
Yeah.
But probably still better than what you're watching.
I mean, at least Sandman that way. I was hoping more that we'd watch more of Altered Carbon. That show's still pretty awesome. My wife has kind of decided she doesn't like it, so it's going to be harder for me to finish that one. So, yeah. So,
I gotcha.
That's kind of covers everything I've been watching, everything you've been watching, unless there's more.
You're going to love this, and you're going to be surprised. Are you ready to be completely and utterly shocked at something else that I watched?
Go for it. Try and shock me.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
That doesn't shock me.
What?
What?
You know how, I wasn't anti-Indiana Jones, but I'm like, nah.
If you had said Star Wars, I maybe would have been more shocked, but
well, there isn't a new one. I haven't. Well, I guess there's the whole
Mandalorian.
Yeah, there's
Book
that.
of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
Andor.
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
But those are all series. I don't want to have to watch one of those series.
I mean, plus there's the other ones that you've missed that have been out before, like Clone Wars or Rebels.
More series?
Mm-hmm. They were cartoon series.
I don't need another series.
There's even the Clone Wars movie out there. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, that would have been more shocking. Dial of Destiny, no. That's I don't know. That's not as shocking, I guess. I haven't watched it, if that makes you feel better.
Well, I know you haven't watched it because you don't you don't watch any.
I mean, I watch stuff. It's just I got kids now, so it's harder to keep up with everything.
Yeah.
So, how was it? What did you think of Dial of Destiny?
It was very long. It's well over 2 hours. I shouldn't say well over, but I mean, it's less than 3 and it's more than 2. So, yeah. It wasn't terrible. I mean, the visuals were all right.
Okay. I'll also watch it sometime.
Yeah. I mean, I know you will. I'm more excited for Moon Knight season 2. The potential is still there. There have been rumblings that they're producing a second season. They're getting things ready, and if that happens, I would be very excited for it because I loved the first season of Moon Knight. Looking forward to that. In the Star Trek realm, Star Trek Strange New World Season 3 has begun filming. They have shared some imagery, as in just the slap from the set. So that's good. Prodigy Season 2 supposedly going to be released on Netflix at some point here in the next, 6 months. Of course, the Section 31 movie. There has been information discovered that it's on the production slate for the next 6+ months. So that can finally get filmed and put together. Because it's only been like 2.5 years since they teased that they were doing that as a series. Or longer, now that I think about it, but whatever. Looking forward to that. Doctor Who Christmas special coming up. We'll have that. So another in the specials, I guess you could say. What else is there? Reacher, haven't watched it yet, but new season is out. Season 2 available to watch on Amazon Prime if you're doing the Prime thing.
Did you watch the first season?
Not yet.
Okay. I was just curious because I knew I watched the first season, and I talked about it on the show.
Yes.
So then when you brought it up, I'm like, whoa. Did Kidder sneak in watching Reacher while I wasn't paying attention? And
not yet. No, I'll sneak it in at some other day.
I'll be interested to think of you or to hear your thoughts on Reacher when you actually get to it.
Yeah, because I've seen both of the movies that Tom Cruise made, or Tom Cruise starred in.
Which, I liked the first Tom Cruise Reacher movie, but that is definitely not Reacher. I'm just gonna say that, like, Tom Cruise's mannerisms and such, he's not Jack Reacher. A fine movie, but like if you're actually looking at it for like the literary book version of the character, this series is much better in that regard, and it's still an enjoyable ride. So I really am interested, Kidder, to hear your take on it, especially since I know you've seen both of the Tom Cruise Reacher movies.
It's been a while, but yeah, kind of want to see those over there.
I own both of them. I haven't watched the second one. It's one of those.
The next Pacific Rim.
Yeah, which came out first, Pacific Rim or Jack Reacher 2?
I think Pacific Rim.
Okay. Layn, if you're watching, and I know I still haven't watched Pacific Rim. That's just how my life rolls these days.
Yes, Pacific Rim, released 2013. Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, released 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now I gotta try and check out Godzilla versus King Kong, because there's a new Godzilla x King Kong movie. Although I'm more excited. I was gonna say I'm more excited for Godzilla Minus One. I've heard just nothing but phenomenal reviews of that. Want to see it. So, yeah.
I tell you, I haven't heard good reviews about it, but you're the only medium I've heard reviews through, so I must have heard good reviews.
Yeah. No, it's I think so far been like the highest grossing Godzilla movie ever. So, but it's on like very limited release because it's the Japanese studio. Because there's really now two studios. There's the Japanese studio making Godzilla movies, and then there's the group here in the US making Godzilla movies. So, that's how I understand it. So,
as of this, the movie has now grossed over $34 million domestically and worldwide box office about $57 million.
Which is pretty impressive for a Godzilla movie.
Directed by Takeshi Yamazaki.
So,
post-war Japan.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more of an origin story. So yeah, hey, if you get a chance to check that out, go, because apparently it's awesome. So,
how about Marvel's Echo?
I'm way behind on Marvel.
Well, apparently it's being released early. Wednesday, January 10th, or Tuesday the 9th, and all 5 episodes will be available to watch. And it's rated TVMA.
Interesting. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it as soon as you've watched it.
Yeah, we're a month out from that, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Kidder,
do what I
hey,
can.
Do you want to hear about some bad promotion?
I mean, maybe.
Because in the gaming world, at least the board gaming world, there's something really spectacularly terrible happening. So Mythic Games, I've talked about on this show before. They are the makers of such things as Super Fantasy Brawl, Solomon Kane, Monster Apocalypse, which we covered in Howard's Cave of Wonder and talking about. They're the ones doing Rainbow Six Siege. And I've covered on this show at various times all of the issues going on with them as of late. Games that are well behind, like we still haven't seen Siege yet, although supposedly it's like this close to being done. Hell seems to be in development hell. No word on a Monster Apocalypse. And they had one other franchise come out that, again, I haven't heard anything about. They've been selling off IP. A lot of people are really upset with them, and the company's kind of been in basically a downward spiral. So all of a sudden, Kidder, for like the last maybe 2-3 weeks, if you follow their social media page, or if you had been one of these past Kickstarters of theirs, you've been getting these things about Krampus is coming. Krampus is coming. And what it ended up being is they have built a different kind of storefront side of their website, and Krampus is taking over and offering killer deals and special promotions and all of this to help bring in some revenue. Why I say this is terrible is for a couple of reasons. One, it's like I'm getting spammed from this constantly, which is annoying. Two, I don't really want to give them any more money because of everything they've done. Three, they spent a lot of money on new art and web design to do this, including a stupid scavenger hunt where, hey, go look through all of our products on the store and see if you can find all of the hidden Krampuses, and you might win a prize, which the prize is like, I think it's a copy of Rainbow Six Siege before it comes out to all the Kickstarter backers, but that pisses everybody off. But the other part of this is since they've been like, Krampus is coming, like the comments that they're getting on this is just everybody trolling back at them. Like, about time somebody comes here to deal with you. Yep, makes sense. Krampus is coming after you guys. I don't think it's garnering them anything from it, and is just fueling, again, all of the Mythic games hate that is out there right now. So, word to the wise, and I'm not a marketing expert by any means, but if your company is kind of right now well known for screwing over a bunch of people and not delivering and failing on all of your promises, like when you say, hey, we'll send out an update every month, and you don't spend all your time and effort designing a whole marketing campaign thinking it's going to get people fired up to buy your stuff. That's just a pro tip. So, or hey, it could be a don't do that. And look, I get to use 2 old graphics in the same episode.
Don't do this.
Nothing like being on top of things.
Yeah, I mean, now if I was a broadcast professional, I maybe would have thought about using those graphics before both of those rants, so that I could have put the graphic before and introduced the segment. But
things happen.
I try.
You're talking about Krampus and the Christmas holiday festivals happening in Star Trek Online, and one of the missions in Q's village is also dealing with Krampus and assimilated gingerbread men.
I mean, he's pretty popular. I got one of the Reaper Mini Christmas figures for this year, and it's Krampus holding up a dwarf. I'll put up a picture because the miniature's over in the cave. I don't want to go find it. So, but since we're talking gaming, I know we're coming close to the end of the show, but talking gaming a little bit. Kidder, I just wanted to review this a little bit. I purchased, this is one of my other Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. I bought something so that I could play it with my son, and it is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the board game. In this case, I grabbed the change and for change is constant box. So the art for everybody. This was put out by IDW Games, 1 to 5 players, 60 to 90 minutes, ages 14 and up. And you'd say, hey, should you really be playing this with a 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old? And maybe. There's definitely a strategy element that he doesn't grasp. But, I got it mostly to be fun. And he was extremely excited to play. We've played 2 of the missions out of the tutorial. And they've taken an extremely long time to play because we've been learning. And I just want to say, I bought it mostly so that Junior and I had something to do together, but this is not a great game.
This is not a great game. Okay.
And here's why, Kidder. I'm gonna summarize it in the easiest bit. So the main thing is there's a bit of story, and then you basically have a combat scenario. And you get a map that's filled with terrain. And I mean, this is very, very technical, on the terrain. It has a reference sheet just for how to interact with all the different types of terrain. And I kid you not, Kidder, it's over half a page. That's just the reference sheet.
Not for kids.
Most of it is fairly fine, and I've kind of been okay, we'll just, we're going to just be easy on this. I'm not going to get super focused on it. We mostly are going to deal with the slow terrain, the elevated terrain, just to be yeah, you can knock a guy off the building. that, just those kind of easy things that are just really quick to do. But I'm not getting into all of this. But it's super technical. But here's the thing, and this is why the game is not that great, if you ask me. Every character gets a set of 3 specialized dice that are supposed to be for them. These are your action dice. And at the beginning of the round, you roll your action dice, and whatever comes up, those are the actions you are allowed to do this turn or this round. Now, there's a few things in it where you get to arrange them. So if you roll your 3 dice, however you arrange them is important, because the dice that's on the left, whatever that ability is, you get to share to the player on your left. The dice that's on the far right, you get to share that ability to the player on your right. So you can help each other out, which is very crucial, because Kidder to move, which you think would be a fairly big part of this, you have to roll for. So if you don't roll any of these skateboards, which represent movement, you're not moving. And so this is an extremely tactical game in that sense, but because you have to roll for what actions you do, you kind of get stuck unless you're all really working together, which, again, I'm working with a 3-year-old who one of the faces of the die does let you select what you want if you roll it. It's kind of like a wild. And, like we were playing today, and Junior got that, and I'm like, okay, buddy, what side do you want? He's like, oh, I want the shell, which is basically an extra die of protection. Like, but buddy, it'd be better if you chose a katana. No, I already got a katana.
Okay.
So it's frustrating in that sense, like if you're not all on board, but still, I have had turns where it's like, I guess I don't move because I didn't get it. Neither of the players to the left or right of me got it. I'm not moving this turn, which, it's there's too much chance for something that is set up to be so strict, tactics based. And that's why I'm not really enjoying it. It feels like if I want it to be that tactical, then I want the ability to be that tactical back and not go, all right, I need to move a good 6 spaces. Will I get it? Nope. I guess I'm going to stand here again. So it's that. I might try to modify the rules to make it a little bit simpler for Junior and I to play. But right now, it's kind of like, ugh. So I'm just saying that. If anybody's curious and is thinking of buying this, it's okay. It's not great, which is probably why, even though this was supposed to be the first game in IDW's Adventures Universal Game System, so they were going to do this with other licenses that they had, and then you could combine them. This is the only one I know of. So, tells you something right there. I will say, though, like, I got the entire Kickstarter bundle because this was originally Kickstarted, but I got it for far less because, again, Cyber Monday, super deal. So
good. You saved money on something that kind of sucks.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I think I can make it into something that Junior and I like and can play. And he has a lot of fun, and he wants to play more of it. Although he was a little bummed. He was trying to help me put miniatures away, and he got a little jammed up, and he broke the Donatello figure. So I fixed it already. It's back in the box, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So,
well,
yeah.
Speaking of something else that's broken, and I forgot to tell you about 2 things. First of all, Charlotte Flair, she's broken. She tore her ACL, MCL, and meniscus. So she will be out for about 9 months, and potentially also may have injured her neck in a move where she fell from the top rope in the match against Asuka. So she'll be out for a while, and that hurts and sucks. Second thing, this pile of garbage. He's looking. He's like, is that what I think it is?
Well, yes. It looks like a shiny box. There's a Sioux logo on it.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
That's how shiny it is. That's how new I have kept this pile of garbage since I got it 2 years ago. So new that there weren't even fingerprints on it, and it's very shiny. What did it do? Just bricked.
What was it supposed to do?
Turn on.
and then?
Well, it's the fire cube.
Oh. Sorry. So, I didn't know exactly what it was besides a black metal box. And so
I thought you could see the Amazon here as you see yourself in its reflection. I know you got a screen about this big.
It's big. So. Yeah. And it was like only like up for a little bit where I could see Amazon. And I'm like, okay, but what is it? Like your faith in me to recognize tech on a small screen from like 2 feet away. I appreciate the thought, man, but I'm not that good.
I trying to bring you along. So, thanks to Black Friday, instead of $140, I spent $120 getting a new one.
Yay!
And I don't know, it boots to the part where you can be like, there's a problem. You should factory reset this. Use the buttons on your remote or on the top of the device to do it. And you're like, won't do it. So that may be something I end up just shooting. I don't know.
I mean, you could. And if you do, make sure you film it and that people can see it right here on the Triple B.
Yeah, just like that. We'll have to see.
Well, Kidder, on that probably sad note with a bit of cheap promotion, tomorrow's Monday. I have to work. Yeah. I think you have to work. And so it may be a little bit of a shorter episode, but we should probably consider wrapping this thing up with a couple of plugs so we can both get to bed and go to our day jobs.
Yeah, where we actually make some money. Because you watching or listening. Yeah, and you too, Howard. Yeah, damn it. You too. We need your help. Streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. Please subscribe. As little as $1 a month can help keep this show afloat. beerbluesbs.com, the other place where you can help us. Both of those sites have merch stores, and we'd love for you to help us. Pick out a shirt, pick out a pint glass, pick out a sticker, something, anything. Help us out. beerbluesbs.com or streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. That would be phenomenal if you could help us out. Also, like, share, subscribe, all the videos and the audio. We are on all of the platforms. If you have any account for any video service, like YouTube specifically, or any of the audio services, like iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, etc. Search for Beer, Blues, and BS. Beer, Blues, and BS. Beer, Blues, and BS. And please subscribe. Help us get to the next level. We want to make some money to pay for the show. We're not looking to get rich, although that would be kind of cool. And we would help bring that to you. We'd actually have a set. We could actually do it in the same place. How about that for miracles? Anyway, that's that. Help us out. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks. Appreciate it. Howard Blues, final thoughts.
Here's a fun one for you. And I don't know if the guy is trolling or not. But as I was scrolling through here, somebody just posted on one of the Magic the Gathering forums. It says, found these in my collection. Super rare Black Lotuses. Looking for a place to grade/sell. Asking 30,000 each. No low balls. I know what I got. What he's actually got there, Kidder, and I'll show it so you can see. Those aren't the Black Lotus, the super rare Magic card that everybody wants. Those are the Blacker Lotus from one of the comedy sets. And if you can read the text on it, it actually says, tear Blacker Lotus into pieces, add 4 mana of any one color to your mana. So you're supposed to tear these cards up. The guy's getting roasted in the comments because, of course, somebody immediately posts an actual Black Lotus, and you'll notice the white border instead of the silver, marking that is an actual card instead of the comedy card. So I don't know if the guy was doing it as a joke or if he's serious and such, but yeah, there you go. Weird people on the internet. A little, take it as you will. There you go. Yeah. Final thought.
Magic. All right. It's like how that stuff just kind of works out. Yeah. In the radio world, tomorrow I will start an hour earlier. Extra hour of the Killer Kidder show.
Whoa. I heard that announcement. That's not until the 19th, man. Tomorrow's only the 18th.
And the 18th. It happens both days. It starts on both days. But I'm glad that you actually saw that.
Yeah, that's a reference to a video that probably most of you haven't seen, but I'll put a link down in the show notes. You know I got you covered. Anyway, go on with your plug.
Like us on Facebook.
Just had to make that joke.
Well, glad somebody caught that. Yeah. 2 p.m. Central Time until 7 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. I am keeping you company on 96.5 The Walleye. And Saturdays noon to 4. So please join me then. Join me often. And anywhere, anytime, you can download the app, 96.5 The Walleye, the app. Just pretend this is your phone and you've downloaded it and you're listening to me on the app because it's free. And you can do that. Yeah. So we'll be having more fun there doing that. Anyway, I also reference the Tuscan Highway and this show in my other show on the radio. Just slipping in things.
And if you're joining us from that, hey, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. All right, well, he's Howard Blues. I'm the man, the myth, legend, Mark Kidder. We got to get out of here. Keep your glass at least half full. There's free beer tomorrow, and we will catch you on down that festive Tuscan Highway. Have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, year, and we'll catch you next time on the next episode of Beer, Brew, and BS.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
Wow. Yeah. In case we ever want to share this with somebody.
Who wants to hear about this?
Nobody, unfortunately. Yeah.
Subscriber numbers are down.
We did lose one here.
Why did you unfollow our page?
Are you asking me or the subscriber?
You.
I still follow.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of have to because I have to put up content, So, which we got like short scheduled like through most of like January.
Short scheduled, huh?
Yep. Finally took some time to sit down and just load a bunch of them. So
I see what you mean by short scheduled now. I thought you were saying that somebody was short scheduling us and not living up to their half of their hosting requirements.
No. As Kidder looks incredibly guilty. Hey, but I mean, you were on streaming earlier today. What was something?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about it.
If you want to.
I mean, I think it's at least worth like mentioning in like a cheap plug kind of fashion. Like, hey, you got to follow because you never know when Kidder's going to get on and just start streaming something. That kind of thing. Worth sharing. You actually had quite a few people tuning in, though.
I did?
At times, yeah.
I should go back and actually look at the metrics on that.
Yeah. I mean,
now seems like a good time.
Because I mean, it wasn't gangbusters, but like, I was trying to get him like fired up and engaged with my dad jokes that I was telling.
Yeah, you had those going.
Yeah. Junior was disappointed though that you didn't have your mic on.
Oh. I did in a little bit after Rude Boy joined.
Yeah, we had stopped watching by then.
Yeah, I was calling you out and nothing.
Sorry. Kids, man. I got kids.
We only had 8 views. What are you talking about, gangbusters?
I said it wasn't gangbusters. I just said people were watching.
There, I added it to the gaming.
I'll make a thumbnail for it tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I won't change it.
Yeah. And when I say like I'll make a thumbnail, I mean I'm totally going to use AI to generate a thumbnail and do it. So you guys were mostly just doing trucking?
Yeah, we were holiday trucking.
Okay, good. Holiday trucking. I'll try and remember that. Like 2 festive holiday trucks colliding. That might be my prompt,
Yeah,